Welcome back, everyone, to When You Need 'em, Ask Neadom. Last time we talked about managed services, what they were and what it meant for your company. Today we're going to talk about how much it actually cost.
Hey guys, welcome to another week of Ask Neadom. So Angel, what do we got on the plate today?
Okay, so we were recently talking about managed services, what they are and how they benefit the company, but now we want to know what's it going to cost.
That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
It is, and hopefully it isn't $1 million.
$1 million.
$1 million.
So yeah, it's a great question. Really depends on the industry that you're in because there's a lot of factors that kind of go into play. And it depends on the company you're working with. And so some managed practice providers charge differently. And so they talk about, some companies charge per PC, per server, some charge only by user, some have some customized price based on what they think it's going to cost to support you. It's really kind of all over the board. But for the purpose of today, we want to focus on a kind of a per user pricing.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
make
Is that
it
what
simple.
you practice?
We do a little bit of all of those kind of things because it really depends. You know, some offices require more support than others, right? Even though I've got 10 users in a doctor's office is not the same as 10 users in a law office. They require a completely different level of support because a law office may have 7 or 8 different applications they're using. A doctor's office might have 1. So there's not as many problems in a doctor's office there would be in the law office.
I would have actually thought it were possibly the other way around, but I can understand.
Well, it all depends. Some doctors' offices have more. It just, like I said, it really depends. That's why it said it kind of depends.
Per business.
Yeah,
right.
so we want to make sure that whatever relationship we get in with a client is a win-win for both of us. You know, we don't want to lose money. They don't want to spend too much money. So it's a win-win both sides. And so for the purposes of this, you know, if we look at a per user price, you can see people that go in charging as low as $75 a user per month. And as high as $275 per user per month.
Wow. Okay.
It's a huge difference. And there's a lot that kind of it's not just that one's charging more for the other. You know, if you look at the cost of managing a company's IT infrastructure, there's a lot of things that go into it. You know, are they a very proactive organization, right? You familiar with the term proactive?
In the sense that they show up to work on time and get their projects finished early?
Not really. So you've got to think about, you know, when you take your car into the shop, right? Mm-hmm. And you say it's not time for an oil change, but you take it in the shop before it's time for an oil change, right?
Okay.
That's being proactive, right?
Proactive maintenance.
Yeah, before something happens,
okay.
right?
Right, sure.
Yeah, and so we want to make sure that we're with an IT provider that's being proactive, that's looking out for us before an issue happens. So it's really important for us, for an organization like ourselves, we make the most amount of money, we're most profitable when our client doesn't have problems, right? And so it's a win for us.
And how's that exactly?
So think about this, right? So we charge a flat rate for IT services, and that flat rate we charge no matter if they call us 1,000 times a month or 1 time a month. We charge the same rate, right?
Okay.
And so if they're not calling us because everything's working for us, we make the most amount of money because our guys aren't having to, you know, spend a lot of extra time solving and closing tickets, right?
Oh, okay. So it's more or less by having them proactively maintained, it prevents having to go and fix issues that could take extra time in the long run and utilize a lot of your staff members.
Yeah, so imagine if you're not having to pick up the phone every day or three times a day. Hey, this is broke. My printer's not working. This is not. So we've got best practice that we put across our clients that we know that will prevent these types of issues.
Okay.
Now it's a win-win. I said that before. It's a win-win because when we're not having those phone calls, our clients aren't having to make those phone calls.
And they're still up and running and
making more money.
They're productive as
well.
They're productive,
right?
Absolutely.
So it's a win-win. So we're a partnership for our clients that way.
Yes.
And so that's where we look at this. And so, you know, the cost for managed services, somebody that's charging $75 a user per month, there's probably not doing a lot of proactive. There's just not enough money in it for them to do proactive work. They can't hire a level 3 engineer to sit and look through your infrastructure every week, every month, every quarter. There's not enough money in it for them to do that, right?
Okay.
They may not be including licensing because licensing may be a part of the conversation, right?
Right.
So that Office 365 or Google Apps or Adobe or whatever else is involved, they may not be including those things in the cost of the $70. Some managed service providers may include things like licensing for Office 365, Google Apps, or Adobe. So it really kind of depends on what's included in that monthly cost. So for $75 a month, you're really not getting much. You may be getting some support, some reactive support if they're there. They may be, kind of promising you the moon, but not actually delivering the proactive support part of it, right?
Okay. So you're saying you would have to pay that fee plus all your licensings, and it would be so much easier just to have it all lumped into one sum.
Yep. And there's a lot of companies out there that want to have like 16 or 17 different bills. That's cool, but we try to make it one IT source for everything that they need. We try to make it really simple for them to kind of manage that. So, and then you've got, a more mature MSP practice that typically looks at a more holistic approach. So imagine if you had a company and you had an internal IT guy, you would expect to get up and go, hey, Bob, I'm having a problem, right? You expect Bob to solve the problem.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's what he's there for.
That's what he's there for.
Yes.
And that's kind of where a mature practice kind of falls into play. We're going to be that guy now we're not going to actually be in the business, but we're going to be like that guy. So you're going to, no matter what the problem is, a copier, a problem with the alarm system, problem with the phone system, we're going to take care of that issue for you guys.
So anything outside vendor related.
Yep, we're going to do vendor management for you guys and take care of all that, manage those guys and make sure your renewals are working, making sure that, that your laptops are all covered under warranty, they have accidental damage and protection. We're going to make sure all those things are happening. That takes extra time and manpower, so we have to charge for that, of course.
But it sounds like the benefit overall is
less work for you guys.
Absolutely, and not so many bills and not feeling nickeled and dimed.
Exactly. So when you look at, on the other side, the $275, it may include things like hardware. And so a lot of times we can lump in a desktop, we can lump in a laptop, we can even lump in your cell phones, your tablets, whatever. Maybe we include the servers in your monthly cost. And so that's when you see those higher prices. On average, you're going to see on a mature MSP, if you're not including hardware, in between $150 to about $200 a user per month is what you're going to look at on an average price.
Just to cover the proactive maintenance as well as licensing and taking care of all the headaches for
backup,
everyone.
yeah. And the additional cost maybe if you have cloud servers or things like that that are not included and things like that. So those are other things that can add on to the cost. That's why I said anywhere between 150 to about 275 per user is about what we typically see.
Well, as long as everything is taken off the hands of the business owner and or their immediate staff, I would think that right there would be the benefit for ensuring that everything is covered under one umbrella, if you will.
Yeah, look, I'm not an insurance guy. I don't know the insurance business.
Right.
I'm not a bookkeeper. I mean, I know how to keep my books, but I don't know the ins and outs of taxes.
You don't keep your own books.
But what I do know is I know people that do it really well.
Right.
And I have those people do that, and I trust those guys. And so really finding that trusted advisor is really what you want to focus on in an IT partner.
And you actually do business consulting along with this MSP service, is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. We look at business risk for clients from the IT perspective. We've got some clients that can't handle a lot of downtime. Even in the event of a hurricane, they still have to be up and running. And so we want to make sure that if they lose power, how we make sure that we've got multiple internet connections, are there services available in the cloud? What needs to happen to keep them in business in those disaster events?
Well, I guess that wraps us up for today, Neadom.
Great. Well, guys, thanks again for tuning in for another episode of Ask Neadom. Remember to like us, hit subscribe, and hit the notification. If you got any comments or questions, hit us below in the comments below. We look forward to hearing from you guys. Remember, there's no dumb question.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.